The Michigan Wolverines making their way to Indianapolis. You see Hassan Haskins, Aidan Hutchinson, and Josh Ross touring Lucas Oil Stadium earlier today. And, of course, hoping, as every team in the Big Ten does, that their season will end with a return visit to this venue where the Big Ten championship game is held. You see kind of middle of the pack in terms of returning production for Jim Harbaugh's team, a new defensive coordinator. In fact, a lot of new coaches on this staff, and we're going to ask the guys about that. You see some of the key returnees, including Aidan Hutchinson, who will be on the set, I should say, with us right now. And speaking of the set with us right now, very pleased to have three of the Wolverines with us, including Josh Ross, Aidan Hutchinson, and Hassan Haskins. And guys, let's dive right into it. No secret that last year was not what you guys came to Michigan for. 2-4. Look, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Last year was not a normal year by any stretch, but the record is the record, and that's what the record was. So how do you what's the strategy? Do you think about it and use it as motivation? Do you put it behind you and just say, I'm never going to think about that again? How do you approach it, Hassan?
Man, I just try to forget about it, but it's always going to be on the back of my mind, so it definitely fueled me. But I just try to forget about that. That's not us. 2-4, we can't do that ever again. So it definitely fueled me.
Aidan, what's your approach to it?
You know, we use that as motivation. We addressed it, looked at the errors that we had, and we moved on from it. We're so ready for 2021. 2020 is just an afterthought now. We are ready for this team, what we got to offer, and we're ready to give it our all for 2021.
Okay, so Josh, how do you use it as motivation? Give me a sense. Aidan said it's a motivator. How do you motivate yourselves coming into a year? What do you go through to do that?
Last year wasn't Michigan. That wasn't us. You know what I'm saying? That was bad ball. And coming to the new year, we knew that. We understood that. And it was tough. It was a tough year. But coming into the new year and revamping, we understood that we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. And we got to grow, and we got to get better. And it's a lot of things we got to get better at, and we got to do that. And we did that starting the first day of winter conditioning, attacking the days, stacking the days. And that's all it's about, just building all that up. And when we get to where we want to be, we're going to be in a place we want to be.
What are some of those things you need to improve on? Let's start with you and the linebacker unit. What are things that you are focused on of how that group can get better?
I'm going to go for an overall thing, leadership. I feel like leadership was a big piece that we needed to improve from last year, and I kind of took that on a chin a lot because I was a captain last year. I made it a motive that this year I was going to be the best leader for my teammates, and not only will I be the best leader, but this man right here will be the best leader. This man right here will be also a great leader, and building that and making it a contagious environment to where everybody's positive and everybody's thriving and getting better.
So how do you guys lead? Aidan, what's your leadership style?
This offseason, I've really tried to lead more vocally than I ever have. I've always been a leader by example, but especially this offseason, I'm a senior now. I have a really strong voice on this team, and I'm just trying to do everything in my power to lead these guys because I've been through it. I've been doing this since 2018. I've played in the big games. I know what it takes to win, and I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to lead these guys to victory.
How about you, Hassan? What's your leadership style?
I kind of lead by example. I really don't talk as much, like these two guys, but I definitely try to lead by example, try to show the younger guys or anybody on our team the right way, So I definitely lead by example. So
we're going to need you to talk in the next 15 minutes. That's something you're willing to do?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure, right? There's no leading by example up here.
Exactly.
All right. Otherwise it just becomes really dull.
It's all good.
What have some of those? What have some of those internal discussions been within this team of attacking this year? What do you guys talk about in your running back group or in offensive meetings? What are the discussions on how you can get this thing going to where I know everyone here believes Michigan football should be?
Just going day by day, just working, getting 1% better, and just use last year as motivation, like they've been saying, and just going day by day, getting 1% better. So,
what do you talk about with your group, Aidan?
There's one thing in football that will lead to success, and that's just doing your job. Invested in that culture and doing your job. that's one thing that we just got to do a better job at, executing and just getting better at the little things. Just continue to do our job, and eventually we're going to be a really good football team.
There's been a lot of buzz about the new coaching staff, about how young and energized this group is. Some of them have really deep connections to the University of Michigan. Each of you is touched by at least one new member of the staff, and in some cases multiple new members of the staff. So give us a sense of some of these coaches and what has stood out about them, and name them. I mean, by name. I'm interested. Like, tell me about Mike McDonald. What has he done with his defense?
Coaches that impact me the most is Coach Mike McDonald and Coach George Hilo. Also Coach George Cox. Great guys, great dudes, great teachers, great. They have so much knowledge and pass that down to us. And it's a privilege to be able to be coached by guys like that, young, energetic, relatable. And it's really like a blessing that, we was able to get those guys here. And I'm just ready to get going and keep pursuing and keep growing. And I know these guys are as well. Like, it's been really, really fun. And I love those coaches. I love those guys. I love all our coaches.
How about the new coaches that are impacting you?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have our defensive line coach, Coach Nua. He's back. I've had him since my sophomore year now. We've grown and we've had a really good relationship, and it's only continuing to trend upwards. He's done so much for me in terms of improving my technique, and also he's done so much for me in life. Just he's shown me a lot of life principles and through experience and just through telling me. So he's been really great to me, and I'm really grateful that we kept him on the staff.
All right. Well, how about the new coaches? How about Coach McDonald, the new defensive coordinator?
And
how
Coach,
is he?
Yeah, I'm not so hands-on with Coach McDonald, but it's great to walk in his office any day I want and just talk scheme with him, talk life, talk whatever. It's just great to have him as a coach and also just a mentor.
Hassan, how about from your point of view? There's a fairly prominent former Michigan running back who I know has a fairly major role in your life now.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm lucky to have Mike Hart as a coach. He definitely came in with a lot of energy. He's definitely showed me the way and how he do things. So he's definitely been teaching me life aspects and just everything for real.
Does it mean more like that he is one of the all-time great running backs in Michigan history? Like the fact that he has stood, at least metaphorically, in your shoes and been as good as you can be at that position in that same uniform? How does that impact you?
It definitely motivates me. I want to be as good as him, one of these days. So it definitely motivates me, and I'm looking forward to this season, how it goes,
Aidan and Josh, I don't think it's any secret that the defense really fell off last year and just was not at the level that it had been in previous years. What needs to happen for it to get back to that level that I think we came to expect for many years of Michigan defense?
Right. Yeah. Over the years, we've built this image of Michigan's defense as we're the rock every single year. We are always unstoppable. We're always top 10. And then last year happened. Next thing you know, we're not even the top 50. And it was a tough pill to swallow, looking back at some of those stats and looking back at some of that film. But it was a reality check, to be honest with you. And now as we move into this season, I feel like guys have kind of awoken a little bit and got out of the phase of thinking we can just be a great defense just by succeeding one another. But it takes hard work. It takes consistent pursuit of just working very hard, and we're going to get back to that to the old ways real soon.
Josh, what gives you belief that it'll be better?
Just to feed off what Aidan said earlier, man, the little things every single day, attacking them, building them up, coming into the building every single day, wanting to win the day. We've been doing that, wanting to win the day, wanting to get better, wanting to attack the day every day, and stacking those days and making sure the fine little things are tuned up where they needed to be. And we're going to be where we want to be,
How do you know if you've won the day? And I'm being dead serious. Like, what happens at the end of the day where you say, you know what, that was pretty good. We had a really good day and we got better today. How do you know?
Anybody that played football before, when you driving home from whatever, if it was a workout or practice, and you're driving home, your day's done, that feeling you get, it's either I won the day or I didn't. And everybody had that feeling before.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
And the best part about that is even if you did lose that day, I think failing is the best way to learn. And
Exactly.
you take that drive home and you just didn't quite have the best day. Guess what? You're going to learn more from that than you do from winning the day. So that's
Exactly.
what I think about.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah. Interested in you guys and NIL. Aidan, I know you announced a partnership with the Players Trunk, right? Give me a sense of what that's about, and I'm interested from all three of you of what the opportunities you see here are.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to, Players Trunk hit me up, and they wanted to do a collaboration with these shirt jerseys. And, it was really groundbreaking because I think we did it the day of July 1st when all this opened up. So it was really a big moment in my life because this is something revolutionary in college football that has never happened before. So I'm grateful that I was able to kind of break through and be one of the first ones to release something cool like that. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to do this.
Hassan and Josh, how have you guys each attacked this opportunity? Hassan, I'll start with you.
I'm still trying to learn what can and cannot do, but I got a little deal with the jerseys. So I haven't did too much, with the NIL, but the season is long, so
Right.
we're gonna see.
How about you, Josh?
Kind of with a sign, like, that ain't small things, but, like, at the end of the day, like, that's not in my forefront of my mind right now. That's not the most important thing right now. Most important thing is we getting ready to start camp. Like, we getting ready to play football. Getting ready to go get it and get after it and win games. And everything, all the NIL stuff is going to come when it needs to.
Exactly.
Due to that, so.
Well, you'll play a huge role in whether or not you win games. You're the leading returning tackler on this defense. How has your role evolved now, given some of the personnel losses from last year?
One thing I'd say, just about myself, that I really made, a big deal for me going into this next year was I'm going to try to be the best leader I possibly can be for my teammates, I feel like last year wasn't good enough, not only for myself, but from all of us. And we all know it, we all get it.
It's true.
And it's like, how are we going to come back from that? Like, how are we going to get better from that? Like, how are we going to grow from that? And how are we going to react next year from this? It's going to mean so much more than what happened last year, So I can't wait to get going. We can't wait to get going and
that's true.
ready to go.
We talk a lot about today this notion of here we are, we're beginning this journey in the stadium where for the Big Ten it ends, right? There's some interesting symmetry here. I know all three of you would dearly love to be back here and playing in a Big Ten championship game. For that to happen for this Michigan team, what do you believe has to happen?
I think we've set a great foundation in this offseason. We've had a great winter conditioning, an electric spring ball, and we've hit the ground running in summer conditioning. Now, summer conditioning is ending. Fall camp is about to start. Pads are about to come on, and we're about to see who's really invested in this team and who's really going to do their job when it matters. And that's what it's going to come down to if we're going to play in Indy for the Big Ten championship, is how invested are these guys in our program and how well are we going to do our jobs. And we're going to see come week one.
Hassan, anything to add to that?
Yeah, that's true. Fall camp is about to start. We're gonna see who's ready or not. So it's coming soon. So I know we all grinding. We gotta see what everybody else doing.
Well, Hassan, Aidan, Josh, thanks so much, guys. Really a pleasure to visit with all three of you, and best of luck.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Always a ton of interest in the maize and blue here at Big Ten Football Media Days. Jim Harbaugh getting set for year number 7 at the helm of the Wolverines as Michigan tries to bounce back from a very strange year, of course, for them and for everyone. Last season going 2-4. They will open up with Western Michigan, so not one of the Big Ten teams that starts with a conference opponent. Instead, Western Michigan, Washington, and Northern Illinois before conference play begins against Rutgers. And look at that November. It is certainly challenging. Indiana, Penn State, and Ohio State among those on the schedule for Michigan. And pleased to have the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh, with us now. And, Coach, let's start with this. You overhauled your staff in the offseason. It's been one of the big headlines, certainly surrounding the Michigan program, and one of the things a lot of people have been talking about in the Big Ten. Give us a sense of what your criteria was as you decided how you wanted to make these changes and what you ultimately arrived at.
Yeah, so defensive side of the ball was the side we made the most changes. 4 new coaches. Mike McDonald, our defensive coordinator, knew him well though. Came from Baltimore, came from the Ravens, so I had really good recommendation.
Do you know anyone?
Somebody I really trusted. Really trusted.
Yeah, I think you do.
You know? And also some other great hires too. I thought Steve Clinkscale, a lot of DB acumen, and a great guy, great coach, great teacher, great dad. Now that I've had a chance to be around him and his family. George Hilo, coaching linebackers, and also Ron Bellamy, state champion high school coach in Michigan this past season, but also a heck of a player at Michigan. So another former player, another former Michigan player. So feel really good about 2 on offense. Mike Hart was added to coach the running backs, and Matt Weiss, who also came from the Ravens, will be coaching the quarterbacks.
A lot's been made of the youth of that group. Is that just a coincidence, or did you want to get younger?
Well, you guys remember what it was like when you were in your 30s, right? Do you? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
I just barely remember. Maybe my late 30s. I remember better.
Yeah. I kind of recall that as the fat part of the bat, you know, and there's a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. I think that's been a good thing for us.
Do you find more discussions and, like you say, more energy? I mean, isn't that part of changing staff one of the best things about getting new guys in the staff?
Yeah, you know, Coach, it was like I was telling somebody earlier that it was our first day of spring practice. So you get 15 practices. Day 1, we go out there to practice. And it could have been a combination of, okay, you didn't play football in, last weeks in December, and it's only had so many that you played last year. Some new coaches. You guys miss it. All kind of combination of things. But hey, maybe you guys were beat up. Maybe you're angry. You didn't like the record you had last year. So a lot of things could have been coming together. But when that first practice was over, and I'm standing there in front of the team, I'm like, man, that was different, right? I mean, I'm not the only one who felt that energy, right. Felt that, that enthusiasm that we just saw after a 3-hour practice. You guys saw it too. Yeah, Coach, we did. All right, well, let's take that and let's bottle it. What we did here. Let's take it to the copy machine, and mimeograph that one, and let's do that 2 days from now. And then, lo and behold, it was 15 days of that. So, it was just, however that happened, it happened.
Right.
You were talking a little bit about traits earlier, that trait just wanting to finish, wanting to complete things. How do you see that happening through your staff and through your team of guys wanting to go out and just be the very best that they can be?
They think they got that gene, right, or they don't. And if they don't, time will tell. But when they do, time will tell too. It's just a bunch of guys. I'm just feeling that they, and that's why I mentioned it a little bit earlier. But I know Cade McNamara's got it. He's got that. He's got to win. I must win. Aidan Hutchinson, Hassan Haskins, Josh Ross. He's going into his 5th year. Played a lot of football at Michigan. His brother played at Michigan. Brother coached at Michigan. Brad Hawkins, our safety, and Dax Hill, Blake Corum. And lo and behold, you're looking at Zinter and Hayes and Stuber and these linebackers that just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Hutchinson's, you see him this weekend, but also David Ajabo, and watching Taylor Upshaw walked through the door, and Braden McGregor and Gabe Newberg and Mozzie Smith, and these guys they want it. They're training. There's something here they want to accomplish. So yeah, you see it that way.
Coach, what's interesting as we're sitting here, and we've done this before, but there just seems to be a juice to you as you're talking about each one of these players and what they look like coming through the door and what they're doing on the practice field that I don't know that I've seen before. Can you feel a difference in your approach or the way you feel about this particular team at this point versus some other teams?
No, I don't really compare them. I kind of feel the same as I always do.
Mm-hmm.
I know deep in my soul I love football, and I also know that I like guys who like football,
mm-hmm.
and I see a lot of guys on this team that really like football. So.
You played quarterback, you coached quarterbacks, not necessarily your quarterback competition now, but just in general terms, what usually separates the starting quarterback from the guys that he beat out?
Yeah, I have to say it's the one that can make the rest of the team better. The guys around him. The rest of the offensive players, and sometimes he even spills over. You see it in the defense. Where the defense is like, man, that guy. I mean, we got to get the ball back to him.
Mm-hmm.
That player. Number one thing, yeah, he makes everybody else around him better.
You mentioned when you first hired Josh Gaddis that it was something that you weren't accustomed to, that style. But you've learned so much football from him and watching that style. Are you still learning, and how have you watched him grow as a coach?
Yeah, I think the biggest way I've seen him grow, and really our whole offensive staff, is like, okay, they really trust him. Our staff guys trust him, and he trusts them. He does trust Sharon and Jay and Mike. Mike came in, immediately, respected and trusted, and Matt Weiss. And you watch them work. They battle. It's a scrimmage. Maybe not battle, but it's kind of scrimmage. Everybody not afraid to throw out an idea.
Right.
Well, what do you think about this? And Josh like, yeah, well, let's look at that. Let's see how we can build on that. Wherever the idea. Steve Kasula, we've got an analyst on our staff. He's a great coach. I love Steve. Kyle Devan, who's analyst on the offensive line, and that whole group, together, and young GA Grant Newsom. See ideas come from him, and they're listened to, and they're heard, and they're chopped up and delved into. I see that. I see that as the way that it's grown the most for Josh and our offensive staff.
Coach, a couple of years ago, I asked you about if a player should be able to transfer without penalty, and you said absolutely. So I'm interested in your opinion about rules all the time. The new camp rules, is that something that you think is a step in the right direction? Does it change up a lot of what you're doing? Less contact this year than in previous years?
Things evolve, Things evolve and change for the better. So yeah, go about it. Especially NIL, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Last 18 months. I mean, these guys, college students in general, high school students, grade school kids. I mean, so much thrown at them.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was whirling around on so many different levels, and now comes along a thing that's really devised to help them. That they will benefit from, and putting their best foot forward. I mean, that's a really good thing. The transfer rule, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And I hate to use the word normal student, but that's the way it is for football players,
right.
And it was that way for other sports,
right.
Had that ability. Now they're starting to talk about it's a good thing, increasing the number of teams in the playoffs. College football was the only team that had 4, and that's talk about whatever playoff you want. You want to talk about professional, any sport, college, pee-wee anything. High school and grade school, junior high. I mean, nobody's got just 4.
Yeah.
So
What could that mean for Michigan?
Good things evolving. I think those are good things evolving.
What could
I think
that
it's just good for the
expanded playoff mean
sport.
for you guys?
I think it's good for the sport of college football. My dad was coaching at Western Kentucky in 2002, and that's a 16-team playoff. And I think they might have gone into that playoff seeded 13th or 14th, maybe it was 15th or 16th, but it was there somewhere, and they won it all.
Yeah.
That's at playoffs, it's like that feeling of being on the basketball court. It's you win and you get to stay out there and keep playing. You lose, you got to go reorganize another team and come back next time. But excited about pretty much excited about all that stuff.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh, head coach of the Wolverines. Coach, thanks for your time. Really looking forward to getting to Ann Arbor, watching you guys in the preseason and seeing what 2021 holds for you.
Thank you, Dave.